Hi, I was recently asked by a parent if our Moodle courses are standardized. And when I answered that question, um, the answer was kind of. And the parent brought a particular page to my attention, and that maybe I should go over some things for teachers. Number one, we do have a class. In fact, everyone's enrolled in a class on Moodle organization. It's called Moodle Organization Grades 5 through 12. However, it's come to my attention that not many people have done that class. And so I'm going to try to go over the basics of that class in less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to use this example class right here on C++ programming as my example. So first of all, there's very little that is standardized on what a Moodle course should look like. So the first thing is the only thing that's required as far as content in the basic setup is the top left here should have a table of contents and the top right should have a calendar. Besides that, the blocks that you want to use in your course and these things that you can put along the sides are called blocks. Those are up to you what you want to add to your course and what functionality makes sense. That's the first thing. The second thing is what the middle should look like for everyone so that it's basically the same. So here's the first thing. There should be nothing in the top. When I say nothing, I mean for the most part. Right now, you can see this announcements. This is up top. I can turn editing on and I can delete that announcements. And when I do that and I hit back out, now you see the general part doesn't even show up. The idea is that if we have to use that, it's for a sub emergency. I'm going to put it up top so that it's always up top so that when my sub comes in to take over my class, there's no question what the students have to be doing today. Because that stuff in the general tab stays up top no matter what I'm doing. It clogs up the class and makes it very difficult for students on a tablet, on a phone, or on their laptop, depending on how much information you have there, to get to the meat of what the student's supposed to be doing right now. So that's number one. There should be nothing up top. If you turn editing on and you see stuff up here in this top block, and you see a section that says general over there, you should be moving that out of that block to where it belongs. So the next thing is the top block should be your class information, course syllabus, those administrative things that you teach the students in the beginning, that spot where you have your links to you, your email, your syllabus, all that stuff is administrative stuff that belongs in the very top. And that's what I've got here as class information. And in this example, of course, I've got my name, my picture, a hyperlink so that you can email me. If you click on that, it'll go directly to an email to come to me. My background information, my course syllabus, and a link to what jobs might be related to this. So that's administrative stuff, goes in its own section. You should be naming it class information. And if you don't know how to name it, all you have to do is click on where it says topic, the pencil there, and you type in class information or whatever like that. And when you're done, you have to hit the enter key for it to take that change. So that's number one. And that was one of the things on a lot of the courses I saw. A lot of teachers have gotten used to piling stuff in the top, which makes it really hard for students to find and see where they're at. In this case, I'm saying they're in chapter 1. That's highlighted. And so when they click on chapter 1, they should only see chapter 1. There's no information up here. They're at the meat of where they're in for this particular class, for this particular session today. What I should have for every class is a table of contents, and the very top section should be that administrative stuff. And then from there on out should be broken into logical sections the way you decide in order of how they accomplish them in the class. I should not see on the left-hand side chapter 10, chapter 2, chapter 7, chapter 8, And if they're out of order, that's not a big deal. The chapter's out of order when I come into my class, and I need to fix those. And by the way, they're not showing up in the table of contents because there's no content. Nothing shows up in the table of contents that's empty. But I want to change that. So I want to move chapter 2 up. All I have to do is click right here on chapter 2 and say it belongs after the section chapter 1. There we go. So now it goes chapter 1, class information, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 4. You get the idea. So my information should be in order of how I do it in my class, because that's how it's going to show up in the table of contents. When I move to a new section, whether you do it by chapters or by content, and in no circumstance should it be by quarter. That's too much information, and you have a logical way to break up your course more than by quarter. Then I should highlight the section I'm in. So when I go to chapter 2, I just go right here and I hit the edit button and I say highlight, and now that chapter becomes highlighted. I should always, as a student, be able to see what section I'm in because it's the highlighted section. Beyond that, the only standardization we ask is that you're standardized among your sections. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 should not look completely new every single time a student goes into that section. Obviously, it's new material, but the way they find the material and the way the material is listed should be in some logical manner that you've decided is best for your course. I'm going to show you my course. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying you should be anything like this, but it should be standardized like this. If you go into my computer hardware course, it shows the course information, class introduction, and then it goes through the different chapters. We're currently on chapter 5. That's why it's highlighted. And if I go into any of my chapters, the chapter basically looks the same as the next chapter. I've got my ICANNs and a self-assessment up top. I've got my reading, my activities, and my tests. And if I go to the next chapter, it looks amazingly the same, broken out with the same labels, showing the reading, the activity. In this case, there's a project before the test. If I go to the next one, you get the idea. It's set up so that I am standardized with me. My chapters, as you look at the different chapters in my course, look like they make sense to my students. And that's my point, is that yours and mine don't have to be the same, but yours and yours should be the same. So when you go to your course and you go between chapter 1, which should be first, to chapter 2, do they make sense that they're ordered in the same way so that they make sense to your student? If you don't have it standardized in some way, using labels to break out your material, if you just have a piled list of things inside each section of your course, you're making it nearly impossible for your parents to help and find material, but you're also making it really, really hard on your students. And you may think, oh, it makes sense where it is. Your students are in 6 or 7 courses, then just yours. If you aren't standardized within your own course and your students are going between this course and this course and this course, you've made it very, very hard. We don't have to say that every Moodle course is the same. We do have to say that yours is organized in some way. And that's it. If you haven't done the other course, there's a lot of material there on Moodle organization. This video is intended to be a short recap of how to do those things.